Brought to you by the EveryDollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
There's a lot of myths out there, and I
True
released
that.
a video on my YouTube channel called 5 Tax Myths Broke People Believe, and not just broke people, a lot of people believe these.
Okay.
And so I want to cover them real quick, the SparkNotes version.
Okay.
And then people can go watch the full version with all the funny memes and clips that we put in there and jokes, but this one's less jokes.
Okay.
You ready for it?
I'm ready.
Myth number 1, a tax refund is reason to celebrate. You've seen people bragging, and the commercials are all like, woo!
I'm going to Disney with my tax refund.
Yikes. Here's what this really is. It's an interest-free loan you gave to Uncle Sam.
Ooh.
Yikes. Because that means you overpaid your taxes all year long, and they're just giving you your money back.
So wait a minute. You're telling me that I loaned the government money and they didn't even pay me interest on it?
0% is what you got.
And then I have to file something in order to get my money back?
Just to figure that out. That's a problem.
Get
So
outta here.
think about it. What could you do with that money instead if you had it all year long? If you had $2,400 refund, that's $200 every month that you could have been using to budget.
George, listen, I know folks out here who are getting like $8,000 refunds.
That hurts my brain. They are giving the government way too much.
Hey,
we
can-
already do that enough with taxes.
Can we do a poll on that? I want to know like what folks are getting. Like put in the comments, put in the
Ooh,
chats.
that's fun.
What is an average or like a normal tax return amount for you? I just want people to see the amounts that they're letting the government borrow. That'll be fun to
Gross.
see.
So the goal here is to get it to as close to zero as possible.
Yes.
You don't want to give too much. You don't want to owe too much.
And you can just go on your W-4 and like change. Like they've made it
Adjust
easier
your
to change your withholding.
Yeah, so work with your HR team and you can adjust that form. And myth number 2, it's bad to be in a higher tax bracket.
Mo money, mo problems.
People are always scared of making more money, Jade, because they're like, well, I might push me into the 22% tax bracket. I'm like, that's not how.
It doesn't even work like that.
It doesn't. And I walk through this visually in this YouTube video. We're not going to do it here, but tax rates are marginal.
It's not your whole amount that's taxed at. Yes.
So
Thank you,
hey,
George.
this first portion of your income is taxed at 10%.
That's
this
right.
next portion is taxed at 12%, and it steps up.
Yes.
And so if you make an extra $2,000, you're not going to be just jumping into wildly
right.
more taxes.
Help the people.
You got to think about the effective tax rate instead of marginal. I walk through that in the video.
Yes. Good.
Myth number 3. You've heard this one. Keeping debt around is good for the write-off.
Yeah, bro. I keep my house payment for the tax write-off.
You've heard people tell people, don't pay off your house. You'll lose the mortgage interest deduction. The numbers on how many people actually itemize, which, by the way, is the only way you can get the interest deduction,
Yes, that's
is
true.
so abysmally low.
Yeah.
And they
Most
don't
people
think
take the
about-
standard deduction.
Exactly. And you don't think about what you've been paying all year in interest for the benefit and joy and blessing of getting a little bit back.
And
So
then there's just the peace, right? Can we just
the peace
simplicity
of not having
peace.
debt.
All right.
So don't spend $1 to save a quarter. That's bad math. That's stupidity. And don't spend money to make money. You've seen the people who are like, I'm going to buy a G-Wagon for $240,000 and write it off like a life hack. No, no one thinks you're cool. Myth number 4, you have to pay by tax day, and if you can't, don't even bother paying at all. You missed it. You missed the boat, Jade.
That's a lie. That's a lie. Do you know what musical that's from?
I don't want to embarrass myself.
Dreamgirls. But keep going.
I was going to say Dreamgirls, which would have been embarrassing. So that's why I didn't do it. So yeah, you have options here. Don't ignore taxes just because you can't pay by tax day. You got to file anyways.
Right. It's
You're gonna
just
have
you
interest and
filing the
penalties.
paperwork, right?
Yes, and you can file an extension for the payment. But this is you got to pay as much as you can and get on a payment plan.
Yeah.
And if you do owe the IRS money, put it to the very top of your debt snowball.
Ooh, good one, George.
That goes to the front of the list because they can screw up your life and garnish wages and take you to court. It's not, you don't want to do
Guys,
that.
pay your taxes. Please don't mess around with these IRS folks. Okay, keep going.
Last myth, you're not smart enough to do your own taxes.
Hey, I have felt that. In
That's real
times
talk.
past, I have felt that, George.
Well, they got all these forms and they ask you a billion questions. And so here's the deal. It's become a lot easier. And this one depends. Some people, it's wise to do it yourself if you feel comfortable. And some people, it's worth working with a pro. So online tax software can be great if you've got 1 to 2 sources of income. You don't have a bunch of non-retirement investing going on.
Yeah.
You're taking the standard deduction. You don't have any major life changes like moves or marriage or whatever.
Babies.
Online tax software is great. And we actually have one called Ramsey Smart Tax.
There it is.
That is wonderfully easy to use. It guides you through the whole process. There's no gimmicks. There's one price you pay, one flat fee, and there's not this surprise
There's no bait and switch.
at the end of, oh, you have one extra form? We're going to get you at this one like the other guys do.
Yeah, I
So
know what
they
you're
make it
talking about.
super simple. upfront pricing.
But
I love that.
if I like literally me, if I'm looking, I'm going, listen, I can't do my taxes. I got a small business. We just had a baby.
Yep.
His income is like that. Then you're
It's time to
looking
work
for
with
a pro.
And we've got a whole network of Ramsey trusted tax pros all over the country who are ready to help you with that you can trust. They have the heart of a teacher. They want to actually educate you. And so those two are great options. So you can go check that out. RamseySolutions.com/tax. Our team created just an entire hub. Number one, there's a few questions you can select. It's going to show you the best option for you. Should you file online? Which version? Should you work with a pro? And it'll give you the next steps. There's also a great guide to taxes and some great checklists, like prep checklists. I print this out every year from this website.
So that you make sure you're having all the paperwork for your tax pro.
All my ducks in a row. Because there's always one I forget. I'm like, oh yeah, I need the 1099-I for the interest income from the high yield. All of that is right there in the checklist, so you know you're ready to go when you meet with the pro or you're filing online.
I suddenly have less stress, George.
That's the goal. That is the goal. So RamseySolutions.com/tax. You know too much now to fall for these myths, y'all. And happy tax filing. I like to get mine done as soon as possible, truthfully.
Create your free every dollar budget today, the simplest way to budget for your life.